you're going so fast that you have to invent the story later, and then people are surprised. And we know that there's a lot of people who they want to do this, but they just don't get it. They don't get what it is that you're doing in the first place. And so what is it that you're doing in the first place? As you practice, as you, you know, implement the practice, so to speak.
Sure. So I won't get into like the crazy details of my actual system. It's been talked about before. I think I touched on it a little bit last time. It's the same system Alex Mullen uses. Complicated 2-card system. But what I'm doing is memorizing each pair of cards. So I have a unique image for every possible pair of 2 cards. So and then what I'm doing is I'm placing those images in a journey, a memory palace, whatever you want to call it. And then during recall, I just walk through the palace and I pull my images. Basically, the images interact with each other. Now, some people place a certain amount of images per location, right? Like they have their own preference. The system I use, I have to actually be okay with different numbers of like it. I don't know how nerdy you want to get, but
I mean, so when you're talking about having
it varies, but per location is what I'm saying.
So, for example, if I'm doing cards, what I tend to like to do is start up here, and then I'll go maybe 3 to 5 cards, sometimes a bit more. It depends on the cards, because if I can slip in another one in the logic of how the images are working, I might do so. And then I'll go here. So when you're talking about placing your you have to do a certain thing a certain way. I think people will get that.
Sure. Okay.
What do you have to do in a certain way?
Right. So what you're saying is more of a preference thing, which is cool. Because like you look at the next card, this actually works really good in the previous story. Like it's a perfect way to end it, or it fits good. So like which I totally get. And in this case, so I have a unique image for every pair of 2 cards, but every unique image. So our system only uses 1,360 images, right? Instead of like 27. What is it supposed to be? 2704 or whatever. So 52 times 52, it's half that. Because what we do is every image. So, I always try to think of the easiest way to explain it. Every image has 2 card pairs associated to it. One starts with a black card, and then there's a corresponding pair that starts with a red card, right? So if it starts with a black card, then I keep piling images in that location. And then as soon as I get a pair of cards that begins with a red, so I read my cards left to right. So if I get a pair of cards that has a red card first, then that's the last image in that location. Mm-hmm. And then I move to the next location. And then does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if the next image, if it's a red card first right away, a red pair, that's the only image in that location. And then I move to the next one. So it's always the last image in a location is always a red first pair. So if the same image comes up twice in a deck, which actually happens more than you think, to tell the difference, I go, well, which is which? Well, one of them was the first image in a location, which means it was black first. The other was by itself, or it was the final image in a location, which means it would be a red first. So using the red first pairs. So if it starts with a diamond or a heart, it's like a built-in stop sign. That's how Alex Mullen has explained it. And it's kind of like, it's red first. This is the final image here. Kind of quickly end the story, and then next location, or end the image, or whatever's happening. Yeah.
My question is, you're having this effect of cards appearing multiple times within a deck because you're using software, not actual decks.
No. Okay. So if I'm sorry, not multiple cards, but the same image. Because each image has 2 possible card pairs,
right?
And a unique image could go up twice in one deck. And this actually happened last week when I was doing. I tried to memorize 40 decks of cards, and I was this close, and then I this exact thing happened to me and screwed me up. And I had back to back the exact same image, and the strategy I used for how many. Again, I don't want to get too caught in the weeds, but the strategy I used to keep track of this stuff, it's if you could imagine a worst case scenario for 2 images popping up, like you memorize enough decks, you're going to see this eventually. And it happened. And I didn't catch it. And anyway, so I memorized 39 out of 40 decks, and it was 2-hour memorization, and recall took a little over 2 hours. So I still basically did 40 decks. I flip two pairs of cards. So
right.
Anyway.
Okay. I'm not even sure that I actually do understand this. Let me think here. So the way I understand what Alex is doing is if you had, let's say 6 of clubs, and then you had ace of hearts, that's going to be one image. And then ace of hearts and 6 of clubs is going to be another image. But are you saying that 6 of clubs and ace of hearts and 6 of clubs are one image, and you're just placing it based on whether the red comes first or the black comes first?
Basically. Now that specific card combination isn't that those are completely different images.
They are.
But
the color is dictating something about the stopping point.
Color. So yeah, when you say so did you say it was an ace of spades, 6 of hearts? Is what you said?
I think I said 6 of clubs, ace of hearts, but I wasn't tracking what I said.
Okay, let's just go with that. So 6 of clubs, ace of hearts. A lot of people think that. They're like, oh yeah, the system works. It's called the shadow system, right? The system we use. Yeah. They'll say, oh, the 6 of clubs and ace of hearts is the same as the ace of hearts and 6 of clubs. I mean, that's not actually true. It's 6 of clubs, ace of hearts, 6 of hearts, ace of clubs. Right. Because there's got to be a red first and a black first. So the number cards, the value of the card has to stay the same. It's the suit that changes, because the suit is what makes the first sound of the. Because it's all major system based on a 3-digit major system, which now I'm sure you've talked about the major system multiple times. Hopefully, we don't have to explain.
Yeah. But just maybe. What is your 6 of clubs, ace of hearts, and what is your ace of hearts, 6 of clubs?
It spells the word legit, so I think of MC Hammer.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Too legit to quit. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I have leash for 6 of clubs, right? Like a dog leash. And usually I have the dog that is, with the leash. And then what did I say? Ace of hearts? That would be fan, which is like both a fan, literally a fan, and the fan, the movie. Yeah. So I'm essentially having two of my 0099 PAO. But if you're using legit, like too legit to quit, right?
Yeah.
Where the 3 numbers are applying to 2 cards.
Yes.
Okay. So then that card is then what, your 561?
Yeah. Yeah. So the suit combination. Yeah, very good. So the suit combination is a 5 L.
Right.
And then the 6 is the J, soft G.
Yeah.
And then the ace we use as a 1 or a T. So.
Yeah. Okay. So my understanding is better now. I don't think it was that far off in the beginning, but I understand it a fair amount better now.